Update. My husband wants me to be a mother to his affair child. Original post. I, 29 female, and my husband, 44 male, have been together for 5 years and married for 2. I met him at a church I started going to when I moved cities to start my career. I work for an insurance company and he's a pastor. I know that we have a notable age gap, but he was always kind to me and made me feel special. Anyhow, a week ago he came home and told me we needed to talk. He told me through tears that he had been having an affair with one of our community members, 34 female, and that she had been pregnant with twins. She had gone into labor, but she and one of the twins died and the other is in the NICU. He said we needed to step up and that he wants me to turn my office into a nursery and set up a cot in the room so we can take turns. I became distressed and told him I wanted some time to think, that I was not sure I wanted to do this. He told me that I had made a vow to him in marriage and that God had blessed us with a child. That this is our cross to bear and that God will never give us something we cannot handle. I told him that it seemed God had given her more than she could handle because she had died. I know I should not have, but I was not thinking correctly. And he slapped me and told me that I needed to serve my husband, that God had chosen me as this child's mother and I needed to be his humble servant. I just feel so strange. Yesterday, I cried so hard I threw up. This woman died, yet I feel bad for myself. I feel so ugly. I wanted children and was saving for IVF because I'm infertile. But now that I have a chance to have a child, I do not want it. I feel like I'd be robbing its mother's grave. I pray to God, but if I'm being honest, it has never felt like anyone was ever listening. I feel like I have truly seen my husband, who looks his age and very tired. I want to abandon him and a child. I'm only 29, I can start over. I have a remote job. I can take a day off when he goes to the NICU, pack my essentials and leave. Neither him nor the child deserve this, and although this is my circus, that is not my monkey. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. The only thing that is not a huge red flag in all of this is you realizing that is not your monkey. He chose to be unfaithful, and from that he expects you to ultimately raise another woman's child? No way. If this is all true, there is only one thing you should do. Run. OP's husband also preaches about the vows she made, but what about him? I'm sure there's something about infidelity in there. Such a freaking hypocrite. If the affair partner hadn't died, did he even plan to tell OP about a second family? To top it all off, he physically abuses her. OP, run from this POS. You know what you need to do and what you want to do. Take a deep breath and run. He's manipulating you with your religion. Don't let him do this. Do not let him take this away. I'm gonna guess that this pastor who beats his wife skipped over the vows about monogamy and faithfulness. I hope she lets the rest of his congregation know what he did before she leaves. Otherwise, he'll probably spread horrendous lies about her deserting him. It sounds like he's kind of preying on his congregation, to be honest. He has already slept with at least 2 of the women, both at least 10 years younger than him, and OP's still fairly new. I wonder how often he does stuff like this to vulnerable women, because I highly doubt this was the only second time. Girl, you better love yourself to leave. That's the hard part. I always have felt like I was never on anyone's radar and just being their back burner. It made me feel special and loved, but this last week I feel like I've seen past that. Although I was old enough to decide to be an age gap relationship, I feel like he had no business with being someone my age. I'm 29 now, and I would feel wrong being with someone 24. I spent my whole life accepting second best, and now that one person who put me first has now put me last, I feel like I just see it all now. I feel used. Queen, you are 29 years old, with your whole life ahead of you. Not a person in this thread is wondering how he got this desperate man. They're all wondering how he got a catch like you. Forget being on someone else's radar. You are steering your own ship and have your own radar. You don't need to be on a back burner. You are your own fire. You have a career. You had the strength to move once and build a life. You can do anything. Just make sure it's the right thing for you, not someone else disguising their own sins or yours. Now for the first update. I just want to thank you all for the support. I'm still processing this all, and I just need a little time. I don't feel unsafe, just in love, just not enough. My husband did apologize for slapping me and continues to express regret. But he can't take it back, just as he cannot take back impregnating another woman, which ultimately killed her. I'm just feeling so disillusioned with my whole life right now. I know I should leave. I know that there is a world out there that will not treat me like this, but I'm scared of change. I'm working on a plan to leave and getting my ducks in a row for when I'm ready to go, but I am not sure when I would leave if I choose to. Many expressed that I should make a report to the police about him slapping me, and they're probably right, but that would likely cause me more problems than it would be worth. If I leave, it might make him want to contest the divorce more, and if I stay, it would cause more tension. I've been working on my left hook though because I won't let him get away with it again. I'm not violent myself, but I'm down for a tussle because although I'm hurt, I'm angry. I'm not sure if there will be an update because I'm still unsure. I can make all the plans in the world, but the changes scares me almost as much as bending to his will. I've been praying about it, but I see no clear answers nor guidance. I don't know. Funny thing, I'm jealous of the people saying that this is fake. It's like I want my life to be like it was 2 weeks ago. I could read a crazy story on the internet and think, wow, that's crazy. Seems kind of fake. And keep scrolling and go about my life. Only I can't scroll away in real life because that's just not how life works. I don't owe anyone proof of my life tragedies, least of all strangers on the internet whom I will never meet. But I do thank all who have given support. I wish I could tell you I packed my bags and left his sorry butt, but I'm not strong enough yet. It's not that easy to do in real life as it turns out. 1. You will recover and be happier, healthier, and better for it. I was married to my abuser for 7 years. I started over after leaving him at 29. At a year since, I've started a new career, married my best friend, taken up new hobbies, traveled, lived in new places. It's been amazing. The journey of freedom and fulfillment and happiness where you're not trapped in an unhealthy and happy marriage with a horrible human being is the best gift you can give yourself, and the whole world opens up to you. 2. He doesn't value you. He values the image and stability you create for him. He's trying to gaslight you into staying so he can save face and create the illusion that you accepted his actions. He is trying to use you to care for the product of his affair and to excuse his actions with the church. 3. He has already physically harmed you by assault and endangered you for the entire length of any affair he has ever had. You need to get tested now and again in about 6 months. 4. Physical abuse only ever escalates. I was married to an abuser, and every time he hurt me, I blamed myself, excused his behavior, accepted his pathetic, whiny BS apologies, and allowed the cycle to continue. He will not change. This will not be his only affair, and it will not be the only time he hits you. If you agree to stay, he's going to leave you at home with a baby and go find new affair partners and abuse you when you question him, confront him, or threaten to leave, at which point he will also use the baby as leverage. Please do not give him the opportunity to do these things. 5. Move out. Take the stuff that matters to you and go start over. Family or friend you've been meaning to visit? That's a great destination to start with. 6. He's a bad person. Full stop. He is an abuser. Do not allow him to cajole or convince otherwise. He is physically and sexually and emotionally abusive. He is a cheater and had no intentions to stop. He had every intention of keeping both of you for as long as possible. Think about that. He didn't come clean when she got pregnant. She got far enough along for viable babies, and he's trying to get you to raise them. He never intended to give up either of you. That behavior will not change. He is a manipulator. This man was a pastor that got into a relationship with a member of the church while married himself, and then hit his wife when she wouldn't comply with his demands. There was no redeeming quality about him. He just had the ability to hide who he really is. He is a narcissist. I recommend heading over to r/narcissistic abuse and r/narc abuse and divorce for additional support and a place to talk with others that will understand. 7. Good luck from one woman who has escaped a guy like this to another. You will be okay. You will heal. You have a better, bigger, happy, healthy life waiting for you. Please take care of yourself. I'm praying for you. Don't take his nonsense. And when he tells you God told me, because he will, don't fall for it. You deserve to be happy. If he hit you once, he can do it again. Also, that church. The fact that some people knew and he is now asking them to help you create the nursery, to sacrifice your office, your space, to make way for this baby? Watch out for those people. They are enablers. Do not share your plans with anyone that you do not trust 100%. Do not let him gaslight you into believing that you can now have the life you've always wanted. Please think about finding a good therapist, not through that church, an actual licensed one, to see things clearly. There might even be resources around you that you are not aware of. You have every right to be angry. Pressing charges would hold him accountable for his actions. It might also give you the necessary push and help to get out of there ASAP. Yes, it will create more tension, but this is not your fault. Do not think of it in terms of how he could act. This isn't about his wants or needs. This is about yours. And right now, you need to get the heck out of there. Please understand that change is good. Change in itself is an act of faith. It's about letting go of your control to see what could be out there. Bending to his will, as he so eloquently said, is simply giving up everything that makes you you. And you are worth more than this BS. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. The longer you stay, the more he will wear you down. He has lied and manipulated you. He has physically harmed you. That is not going to change. Change is definitely scary, but being abused is scarier. You need to leave that house. Now for the final update 8 months later. I left. If that's all you wanted to know, there it is. For those of you who are asking how the other woman died, I get it. I invited you into my business. It was an amniotic fluid embolism. I don't know much about those, but I guess when they happen, things go wrong really, really fast. We lived in a more rural area, so they just weren't ready for something like that to happen. I didn't leave right away, as I know now that I should have. It just wasn't that easy. I stayed for 2 months. I knew if I did not at least try to make it work, I would not be able to live with it. Not because I wanted to save my marriage, but because what ifs keep me up at night enough as is. I went to marriage counseling with my husband, but it was ultimately fruitless. Of course, it was Christian counseling. I felt like their goal was for me to forgive him, rather than actually trying to help me. I was so utterly alone during that time. My parents and brother are also very religious, so even though they weren't happy with my husband, they kept urging me to do what a good Christian wife would do. I spent so much time suffering in my own head that I began to realize that I was just going through the motions, doing what I thought people expected of me. I entered a state of derealization for a time, and that was absolutely confusing. The feeling of nothing being real, not even myself, was horrible. During this period, my husband brought his baby home, and while he tried to split the cares 50-50 at first, he ultimately didn't trust me to look after the baby because I was lost in space. So he ended up being the primary provider. When I was with the baby, all I could think about was how its existence ruined my life. It would look at me with big blue eyes, and I would just wish it would disappear. I would actively spend time resenting a baby. There was a time when I was thinking to myself and wished it would stop breathing. That was when I knew that I needed to leave. I was blaming a baby and wishing ill upon it, and that was not okay to do. I don't remember much about this time besides that. It's mostly a blur otherwise. I sought services through my work to talk to a therapist, and I eventually came back to Earth. She helped me make a plan. At no point did I fear my husband. I truly believed his slap was a one-off event. However, screw him. He doesn't deserve closure. So on a night he had a long Bible study, and he always took his baby with him because he didn't trust me, I packed my essentials and dipped. I met him pretty quickly after college, so I did not have much to take as far as furnishings. I fit everything I wanted in 3 suitcases and 4 moving boxes. It all fit into my SUV after some mediocre Tetris skills. I was able to change my phone number online before I left, but I did leave the divorce papers under his pillow with my lawyer's contact info. Kind of like the tooth fairy, but for a-holes. I was the breadwinner, and in my state, we were not married long enough for me to pay spousal maintenance. At least that is what my lawyer said. I own my vehicle outright. We had our own bank accounts and a shared expenses account. We filed taxes separately, and the church owns the house. He's being an a-hole about it all, but I'm hoping it should be done soon. I got a decent apartment in a city a few hundred miles away. I've never lived in a city this big before. Everything is so expensive, but besides that, I like it. I found a new therapist, met some new friends, and found a new church with loving people. I still have my days, but for the most part, I'm content. I think it will always hurt on some level, but I'm working on taking my power back. I turn 30 next month, and I am hopeful it will be the start of my best decade yet. Good. You deserve better. Good luck. God, I'm so sorry, but happy that you're in a safe place. You did well for yourself and your mental health. None of this is your fault. It's all his. Happy you're healthy. I hope you stay happy. Nobody needs to raise a child of their partner's affair. You did the right thing for you. I knew a lady who did it, but it's very rare. Way back in the 80s, a lady I worked with, her daughter was a teenager. She was in a miserable marriage. She was raised super fundy and married at like 18 or 19, and just couldn't contemplate divorce. It terrified her. She worked for her husband's company, desperately wanted another baby because her daughter would be going off to college soon, and she'd be stuck alone with this a-hole she hated. She was really depressed that she couldn't get pregnant again. Well, wouldn't you know it? Look, honey, the Lord blessed us. Someone her husband knew had a relative who got pregnant in high school and didn't want to keep it. I want to say the lady's name was Lynette, something country like that. We worked at a Walden Books in the early 80s. Lynette and her teen daughter fell in love with that baby boy, and Lynette ended up kicking the hubs to the curb and keeping the baby. A sweet story. But screw OP's husband. And OP, it's not your fault you resented that baby. Good on you for recognizing it and leaving. You deserve a good life. You said you think it'll always hurt on some level. It won't. It just won't. I don't know how to explain how you go from loving someone to loving them, not liking them, but loving them anyway, to just apathy. Just nothing. It's like the world reabsorbs that love. It just evaporates. And it is gone and no longer the burden that loving a narcissist truly is. Look, I just read all your story and it's horrible. I'm sorry you've been through this hurtful ordeal, but thankful to be on the outside now. I know that better days are ahead. Your ex? That dude has zero capacity for love. Zero. He used his baby to try to manipulate you. Score that on a parent report card. He's trash. Be thankful that love evaporates. He doesn't deserve it, and neither do you. I wish you the very best. You'll be fine.